Okay, let's talk about growth. What if there was a way to get a 15 times return on your marketing spend? Yeah, I know, it sounds kind of crazy, right? Almost too good to be true. But it's totally possible if you build the right kind of growth machine. So in this explainer, we're going to break down the 3 essential pillars of that machine. We'll show you how to set up for growth that's not just scalable, but actually profitable.
Let's just kick things off with a number that should make anybody in business sit up and take notice. $15. And no, that's not the price of a fancy latte. According to Impact.com, that's the average return for every single dollar you spend on affiliate partnerships. Just let that sink in for a sec. A 15-fold return on your investment. That's a game changer. So, that incredible ROI we just talked about? Well, that is the power of what we call the partnership economy. And look, this isn't just another marketing channel to throw on the pile. No way. When you really get this right, it becomes the actual engine of your growth. It's how you systematically turn your relationships into real revenue. But okay, knowing the potential is one thing, right? Actually building the machine to capture it, well, that's the real challenge. There's no single magic bullet here. It's all about getting a specific set of strategies and tools to work together perfectly in sync. So the big question is, how do you actually build it?
All right, so it all starts with the very first pillar of our growth machine, learning how to unlock the partnership economy. And really, this is about fundamentally rethinking how you get customers. We're moving away from old models and toward one that's both scalable and crucially performance-based.
Now, at its core, what we're talking about here is affiliate marketing, but it's so important to understand the modern definition. This is a pure performance model. You're not just paying for eyeballs or random clicks. No, you are rewarding your partners for actual, tangible results. Visitors, leads, and most importantly, paying customers.
And hey, if you're thinking this is still some kind of niche fringe strategy, think again. I mean, look at this. Over 80% of brands and publishers are now using partnerships to drive their growth. This has completely moved from being a nice-to-have tactic to an absolutely essential part of the modern business playbook. So the question isn't if you should be doing this anymore, it's how well can you actually pull it off?
What's really fascinating to me is just how diverse the modern partnership economy has become. I mean, the biggest slice of the ad spend pie, almost 40%, goes to content creators and bloggers. This just proves we've moved light years beyond those old-school coupon sites. We're talking about a whole ecosystem now filled with influencers, niche media outlets, podcasters. It's a huge universe of people you can collaborate with. So let's say you do it. You build this incredible engine. Your partners are sending a flood of traffic your way. That's awesome, right? But that's only half the battle. Because if you're sending all that high-intent traffic to the wrong place, you are literally just throwing money down the drain. And that leads us to the next critical piece of our growth machine.
And that brings us right to our second pillar, turning those clicks into actual customers. It's all about conversion. It's about having the right tools in place to make sure the traffic your partners are working so hard to send you actually turns into revenue.
Okay, here's one of the biggest and most expensive mistakes I see businesses make all the time. They send all this amazing, high-value partner traffic to their generic homepage. That is like inviting someone over for a party, but not telling them which room it's in. It just doesn't work. Instead, you absolutely have to send them to a dedicated landing page, a page designed for one, and only one, purpose, getting them to convert.
And you know what the best part is? You don't need to be some kind of coding wizard to create these super high converting pages. Not at all. There's a whole ecosystem of landing page builders out there, and this chart just gives you a quick snapshot of what's available. You can find everything from really simple, budget-friendly tools to these incredibly powerful enterprise-level platforms.
Yeah, let's make this a little more concrete. Let's look at 2 different examples from that list. So, on one end, you've got a tool like Moosend. It's super affordable, it comes bundled with email marketing, it's pretty much perfect for a startup. Then on the complete other end of the spectrum, you've got something like Unbounce. We're talking powerful AI optimization, serious A/B testing, built for larger teams with bigger budgets. The key takeaway here is pretty simple. Find the tool that fits where you are right now, but make sure it has the power to grow with you.
But here's what happens. As you get more successful, a new challenge pops up: complexity. All of a sudden, you're not just juggling a few things. You're juggling dozens of partners, tons of different campaigns, a whole portfolio of landing pages, and your once simple growth machine starts to feel, well, a lot like organized chaos. So how do you manage all of that without dropping any of the balls? Well, that brings us to the final and absolutely crucial pillar of our growth stack. This is the system that ties everything together. Think of it as the cockpit for your entire growth machine. It's the thing that ensures smooth execution, which, let's be honest, is more critical than ever now that so many teams are working remotely.
We're talking about a project management tool, of course. I really like to think of it as the central nervous system for a marketing team. It's that one central digital hub where you can plan all your campaigns, track all your progress, and collaborate on every single detail. It's how you make sure nothing ever falls through the cracks.
But man, there are a lot of options out there, and choosing the right one can feel a little daunting. So here's the simple framework to help you decide. Just ask yourself these key questions. First, is it easy to use? Like, is the interface actually intuitive for my team? Second, how fast can we get up and running? And maybe most importantly, does it integrate with the other tools we're already using, like our CRM or our landing page builder? Answering those practical questions will point you in the right direction.
So a platform like Wrike is a great example of this in action. It's literally built to be that central hub, right? It's got real-time collaboration features to keep everyone on the same page. But honestly, the real magic is in the integrations. We're talking over 400 connections to tools you already use, like Salesforce and Google Drive. It just pulls your entire marketing stack together so it can finally work like one cohesive machine.
Okay, so let's pull all of this together. We've walked through the 3 core pillars. Now, let's assemble them into one single powerful concept, what we call the modern growth stack.
It's a really simple 3-part model. First, you have your partnerships. That's the engine driving all that scalable, performance-based traffic. Second, you have your landing pages. That's the conversion point, where you turn clicks into actual customers. And finally, you have project management. That's the cockpit, organizing all the moving parts and making sure the whole thing runs smoothly.
And you know, I think this quote from the CEO of Impact really gets to the heart of the mindset you need. This isn't about managing some old list of affiliates anymore. This whole stack we've been talking about is designed for the future of marketing, and that future is all about building a diverse, dynamic ecosystem of influencers, content creators, and strategic business partners.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most important question of all, the one I want you to ask yourself after watching this. Take a hard look at your own marketing efforts. Do you have that powerful engine? Do you have an efficient conversion tool? And do you have a well-organized cockpit that keeps everything working in perfect sync? Bottom line, is your growth stack truly built to win?